Good morning. Good morning. Please, sit down. Sit down. Brothers and sisters, I always say meeting with people completely informal way. I don't like formality. So meeting with the same human being on this same planet, no need formality. If some other galaxies, some different form of human being come, then maybe need some formality. Otherwise, there's no use. Oh, mentally, emotionally, physically, we are same. Oh. Sometimes the people see too much to formality, sort of formal way. Sometimes I felt, oh, he or she also is have the same emotion, some anger or fear. So same, nothing. I think basically from Queen till Becker, we are same. Same way we born, same way we have to die. Nothing special. No special arrangement when we born or when we die. Isn't it? Like that. So while we alive, much better to look each other as human brothers, sisters, and we share one's own feeling, one's own experience. On the basis, we all want happy life. We all have a right to achieve happy life, happiness. So it is our common interest, the common goal. So now time come. Unlike previous centuries, for example, me as a Tibetan, we remain there quietly, sometimes with narrow-minded, remain that way. There's no connection with outside world. So I think in some extent it's Indian. I think before independence, then I think even those sort of rajas, small kingdoms, I think they consider they are small kingdoms, and not whole India. After independence, now East India, South India, West India, North India, Central India, different language, different script, but spirit of one union. So, and then today's world is such nature, heavily interdependent. India's interest, India's future much depend on the West, also in China. Politically, some difficulties, but still, as your neighbor, economy, heavily interdependent. And I think Pakistan. Politically, many Indian eye, Pakistan is your enemy. As well as the Pakistani eye is India, is their dangerous sort of neighbor. But you have to live side by side. Yes. Then, eventually, we have to develop genuine the sense of brotherhood, sisterhood. Then, life become much easier, and economically, benefit to both. And if Pakistan, stable, and Bangladesh also. I think a close relation with India, stable. Then India's whole tradition, non-violence, ahimsa. And with that, religious tolerance. Whether true or not, I heard in, I think, maybe 40s, Bigno Babaji, once, you see, he expressed the concept of ABC. That means A means Afghanistan, B, Burma, C, Sri Lanka, then India, Pakistan, some kind of federal. If that dream materialized, today, I think Afghanistan, Pakistan, Bangladesh, I think much more peaceful, stable. No question. So now time comes. You see, think about oneness of humanity. I fully committed till my death, try to promote through awareness, we are same human being. We need, each of us should have sense of responsibility of 7 billion human beings. Even selfish viewpoint, if 7 billion human beings without a fear and can trust, open, then each individual have maximum benefit. If humanity generally too much sense of competition and fear, distrust, then individual also feel more difficult. So for individual sort of interest also, you see, we have to think about humanity. So now here, firstly, I very much appreciate, you see, you, organize this meeting, and is come here, remain together for a short moment, and some talk. So I very much appreciate. Now I have 3 commitments. Number 1 commitment, I consider I'm just one human being. One of the, out of 7 billion human beings, I'm one of them. So we are a social animal. So individuals' interest, individuals' happiness very much depend on the rest of the community. So now today, whole 7 billion human beings is actually one human community. If you look from space, just one blue planet. No national boundaries. And climate, global warming, don't care about national boundary. And global economy also don't care about national boundary. Isn't it? The global economy don't care dollar or rupee or Chinese kasa, yuan, like that. So therefore, see, actually the reality telling us you are one. I think unlike previous centuries, as I mentioned earlier when we were debate, is our own economy is self-sufficient. Occasionally there's some sort of trade, right, with India, some private individual. Otherwise nothing. And now today, that kind of work, that kind of reality completely changed. So I really feel a lot of problem. I feel the gap, our perception and reality. Reality much changed, but our perception still thinking, old thinking, we that. So therefore, my number 1 commitment is try to promote the concept of oneness of 7 billion human beings, not through prayer. Many people ask me, pray. sometimes I frankly telling people, I'm Buddhist monk. My daily practice, including prayer. But in the terms of humanity, I don't believe prayer can do something. I think we Tibetan, I think several centuries always pray, but we fail. We not taking sort of action, just to pray. And our responsibility put on Buddha's shoulder, not carrying ourselves. So similarly, I always telling, how serious, how sort of joke. You see, if we met the Buddha or Jesus Christ or Allah, some other sort of the God and goddesses, if we ask, please bring peace on this planet, then I think I'm quite sure. You see, these great teachers will respond. Who created violence? Who created non-violence? Buddha or this God never created this negative thing. You human being created. God, you see, kasa, kindness kare. Mercy, God, I say, what is it? Graciously give us kasa free will. You utilize free will wrong way. So it is since this problem you started, so you have the responsibility to solve. Don't ask me to bring peace. Then I think we have no further argument. Oh, sorry. So therefore, now prayer in the terms of community, terms of humanity or world, prayer, I'm quite skeptical. I'm sort of, as a Buddhist monk, we should be realistic, like that. So our action. Now basically, we human beings, on level of human nature, I think, for example, when we passing through somewhere, you see, almost facing starvation or something. If appear one human being there, then first thought, oh, there's one human being. Don't consider what is their religion, what is their nationality, what is their social background, just a human being. I think children, I think their mind very pure, very honest. So children, it's so long, smiling, play together, they feel very happy. They don't ask, what is their religious faith? What is their caste system, caste or these things? I don't think. Isn't it? When we gradually grown up, then we too much emphasis secondary level of differences. Sameness of humanity below. Not much of concern. At the secondary level of differences. Then, including different nations, or different religious faith, or different color, or different, now in this country, I think unfortunately, different sort of caste. And then same faith, same sort of, nationality, still we consider rich and poor, educated, uneducated, influential, not influential. So then, too much sort of distinction. That really causing. Then concept of we and they become very strong. And that is the source of violence, source of problem. Now look, the Middle East, really very unfortunate. Actually all major religious tradition, in spite of different philosophical views, but all carry same message of love, or message of compassion, message of forgiveness, tolerance, contentment, self-discipline. All have same message. As a result, I think all have same potential to create more compassionate human being, more sensible human being. But then, you see, lack of basic, the human basics, or the basic level, is the sameness of human being. Lack of that, then even the religion, the really source of these basic values, also now become source of problem. Look, now these Middle East, now these days, Shia, Sunni, follower of same Quran, Muhammad, but problem, killing each other. And Northern Ireland, Catholic, Protestant, follower of same Jesus, same Bible, but still problem. Now, unfortunately, in Burma, Buddhist and Burmese Muslim, some problem. So very sad, very sad. With too much emphasis on secondary level of differences. I think, for example, in India, I think Indian, different part of, come from different part of India, for example, from South India, who speak Tamil. Sometimes they say Tamil language is more advanced than Hindi. But doesn't matter. small sort of, how to say, because of the prejudice. But basically, we all have the concept of we Indian. So now that concept, I think, must expand. We human being. So that's my number one commitment. Number two commitment, religious harmony. I am Buddhist. I think last now 50, now I think almost now 60 years, I have sort of many occasions meeting with people from different religious tradition, and through personal contact and learning. And now I fully sort of convinced all these major different religious traditions, in spite of different philosophy, all carry, as I mentioned earlier, same message, same practice. Then different philosophy is necessary because it's a different area, different time. You see, the different area, including the different climate condition and sort of because of the location, some are more available, vegetable, fruit, these things. Some, like some Arab countries, more desert like that. So, because of that, it's in different culture, different way of life. So, there are some sort of differences because of mental disposition. So therefore, we need different philosophical views. All different philosophy, same purpose, to bring conviction about value of compassion, love, forgiveness. So no problem. Like medicine, variety, but all meant for bring health or cure illness, like that. So therefore, here I think India, I think that furthermore, the third my commitment. So my second commitment is promotion of religious harmony. Then third commitment, I'm Tibetan. And many Tibetan, even in difficult circumstances, they really trust me. So therefore, I have some moral responsibility to think Tibet and to think Tibetan people. And then as far as the political responsibility is concerned, since 2011, I totally retired. Not only myself retired, but also almost 4th century old tradition, Dalai Lama institution, automatically become head of both temporal and spirituality. Now that cease. I voluntarily, happily, proudly end it now. So I have no longer political responsibility. And then also, so then is my main sort of now responsibility regarding Tibet is Tibetan culture, including Tibetan script, Tibetan language. As far as Tibetan script is concerned, our script actually a copy from one Devanagari, or say the alphabet. So sometimes we can read Ashoka Pillar's letter. Of course, we cannot understand the meaning, but we can sort of recognize alphabet like that. So sometimes I jokingly telling, as far as culture is concerned, India have more reason to claim Tibet is part of India rather than China. Chinese language, Chinese script, and our Tibetan script, completely different, like that. So in any way, so our sort of unique the language or script. Now today, I found these Buddhist sort of, or say the philosophy, or different Buddhist sort of, or say the teachings, which are available in Tibetan tradition, all come from India directly. Since 7th century, Tibetan emperor, the family level, very close link with Chinese emperor through marriage. However, as far as Buddhism is concerned, the Tibetan emperor prefer bring Buddhism directly from India, not through China. Yes. So then 8th century, the Tibetan emperor invited the Shanda Rakshita from Nalanda. He introduced Buddhism in Tibet according to Nalanda tradition. So Tibetan Buddhist tradition is actually, I think, a pure tradition of Nalanda tradition. So today, sometimes we feel quite proud. We, as a chela of ancient Indian master, now we chela, I think, done our responsibility to preserve this. Whereas our guru forget now these things. You Indian, traditionally our guru. So guru see too much attraction about technology, about Western civilized, Western sort of things. when we take pilgrimage to Nalanda, just ruined, nothing there. So therefore, I think today I found the best language to describe complicated Buddhist philosophy, particularly Madhyamika philosophy, and Nagarjuna's philosophy. Tibetan language is the best language. We can explain precisely. Because, you see, Tibetan language itself, you see, while carry translation, our language further developed. So therefore, today, Tibetan language is the closest language with Sanskrit. So therefore, preservation of Tibetan culture or Tibetan language, not only our interest, 6 million Tibetan people's interest, but also, I think, interest for whole Buddhist world, no doubt. So therefore, and then environment. Now regarding Tibetan environment, environment. Now, for example, this country, India, major rivers which cover from Pakistan up to China, which come from Tibet. Obviously, Brahmaputra and Ganga, Ganges, or most of these major rivers come from Tibet. So I think over billion human beings' life depend on these rivers. So as far as India is concerned, although the river come from, politically we can say, they come from the People's Republic of China. But the user of this water, Northern Indian, whole Northern Indian, you see. So therefore, you also have some sort of responsibility to say, to express your concern about environment of Tibet. One Chinese environmentalist wrote one article. I saw that article. He, I think, several years he sort of observed and studied. So he found the effect from Tibetan plateau to global warming is as much as South Pole and North Pole. So he described Tibetan plateau is third pole. One Chinese ecologist, environmentalist, you see, he mentioned that. So therefore, you Indian, I think should carry some more voice, concern about, you see, Tibetan ecology problem, like that. So my 3 commitment, like that. So now here, number 1 commitment, promotion of oneness of humanity. And on that basis, the concept of ahimsa, non-violence. I think non-violence concept, not only one ancient sort of concept, but also very relevant to today's world. So Indians should be more active for promotion of non-violence. In order to promote this non-violence, you see, here within the country, I think should carry more serious sort of discussion about these values and make more sort of some kind of refreshment within the country. Then I often, you see, telling Indian sort of as a community in London or in England or America, in Australia, when I have the sort of meeting some Indian groups, I telling you should carry the ancient Indian concept of ahimsa with that religious harmony. In England or in America, Pakistanis, Indians usually live together. So, you see, that's important. You see, to carry wherever Indian community there, you see, these 1,000-year-old India's concept of secular ahimsa, I think very important. So then sometimes I jokingly telling Indians in foreign land, wherever Chinese community there, you see, they eventually create Chinatown. So Indian should create India town. Why not? You see, Chinese, very rich culture. So they create Chinatown. Yes. Oh, China's because of the right, because of script. Like that. You India, also they have same potential. So Indian, I think on the world, I think people generally, you see, have the impression Chinese, more active. Indian, frankly speaking, a little bit lazy. So now, you Indian should be more active. You have the potential. The China, you see, they really, I think political reason, they really making effort to many universities, the study of Chinese Confucianism. Now, many universities now express no need to study Confucianism. India, non-violence, religious harmony, secular concept, secular ethics. I think you have a lot of things to offer to the world. So now, as my number one commitment, you Indian, truly my brother, and furthermore, my comrade. So should be active for promotion of these things, number one. Number two, as for promotion of religious harmony, India, over 3,000 years, you already have, that tradition. I always make clear, beside homegrown different religious tradition, that means Sankhyaism, Jainism, Buddhism, and the different sort of the Hindu different traditions, and then gradually, these are homegrown different religious tradition, and then later Sikhism, all very much harmony. Intellectual level, yes, debate, serious debate, but still all this debate carry in this spirit of spiritual brotherhood, sisterhood. Wonderful. So then later from foreign country, the Parsi community, the Zoroastrian come. In Bombay, Zoroastrian, the follower of Zoroastrian, Parsi, very small community, but no fear, completely safe. That's India. Otherwise, the people who so-called minority, sometimes fear, sense of insecurity. But Parsi community there, like at the Tata and Field Marshal Manekshaw, also from Parsi community. So really wonderful, like that. So therefore, and then Judaism, Christianity, Islam, all, established or deeply rooted in this country. Some problems, occasionally, that's understandable. Yes. I usually telling about billion populated nation, some mischievous people must be there in order to show we are still humanity, human community. All over billion Indians, not God and goddesses. So some mischievous people are always there. That's understandable. But overall, I think India still, kept, I think, wonderfully the concept of religious harmony. There's now a time come to show the world different religious faith can live together peacefully in the spirit of brotherhood, sisterhood. Okay, India is living example. I always telling like that. So India, most populated democratic country, quite a difficult, sort of a lot of problems there. In spite of that, this is still, over 1,000 years, India's tradition, religious harmony is still there. Yes. So this, you should feel proud, and now time come to show the rest of the world. And sometimes I have strong view, Indian Muslim should take some effort to bring harmony, firstly, among Sunni and Shia. Recently, I met the Ajmer, and also a scholar from Delhi. And some my Indian friend, I think now over 1 year I sort of express, now I'm outsider from Muslim world, but Indian Muslim now should try to reach out to these Muslim brothers, sisters. Then eventually these, including what to call, Kasa, terrorists, IS. Oh, you see, even these are the hardliner. They are a human being. I think, except you see, manipulated by political reason. Otherwise, some of these Muslims, I think, are really genuine Islam practitioner, Islam follower. I think if they really love, you see, Islam, then their action is really great damaging the image of Islam. So we can talk. Then this country, over 2,000 years, different religious traditions live together. And in this country, I never heard problem between Sunni and Shia. I never heard. In Ladakh, so one example, you see, whenever I met some Muslim there, Shia and Sunni always together. Nothing, no sort of differences. So this, I think, greatness of India, something not only 1,000-year-old tradition, but very, very relevant to today's world. So Indian now should take more active sort of effort in this field. That I want to share with you. Like that. So that's all. Some questions now. Some question. As I mentioned earlier, completely informal. So any question you can ask. Yes?
It's not a question, but I come from Pratapgarh School, and it's my personal experience. There's 1,500 students sitting in front of me. 1,500 students sitting in front of me, and I have students from Leh Ladakh and all the other sides, part of the northern India. And when I did meditation with them, when I did meditation for 1 hour with the religious chanting of Om Mane Padme Hum, within an hour, I could feel that positive vibes, and students approached me saying, "Sir, we are feeling so different, we are feeling so relaxed, we are feeling like we were in a jet plane, flying like a Superman." 3-4-year-old, these all students were sitting here, they have experienced meditation on a daily basis in Pathankot, in Pratapgarh School, in clean and serene surroundings, with this music at 7 a.m. in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning, 5 a.m. in the morning. And I could see that there is a great transformation that has taken place. 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, and they are like more and more open. They are more connected. They are more, as you mentioned, they are more feeling as a human. The same, in the assembly, I talked about different religions like Taoism, Buddhism, secularism, Jainism, Christian, Sikhism, Bara faith, all the religions. And I was about to talk about humanity. Suddenly a child came. I asked, okay, now who will tell me what are the different type of religions? A child came, 7-year-old, "Sir, it is humanity." And I told, very good, that is the correct answer. And then I told him about religions. But then I said the same thing. Religions are we just all representatives. But oneness, art of happiness, contentment, compassionism, happiness, and that is the most important factor that should be there. So your teachings, your books, literature are in the library, not only yours, people around across the globe having same philosophy, approach towards humanity, and the students have realized that yes, we are all one, we are all brothers and sisters, and but certainly to just make a point about meditation, the power that there is a great power, there is great power in the chant Om Mane Padme Hum, which has really went deep inside to the children, and it is transforming great. Thank you so much for your great blessings.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate your effort. Thank you. Now in America, since many of my friends, and including many scientists, this very room, meeting with scientists, I think several occasions. Actually, over 30 years, I have serious discussion with modern scientists and educationists. So many scientists now, they really showing genuine eagerness to learn from ancient Indian knowledge about emotion or psychology. So then, as a result, now today in America, at least around 10 cities, they already developed a name of City of Compassion, City of Kindness. 그 시티식 민 가사.
Louisville.
가. Anaheim. Oh. And then another sort of city, they developed the name of City of Compassion. So then they recently is I met, or last year also is I met, and then this year also is I met. You see, they told me with the name of the City of Kindness or City of Compassion, within the city, they carry certain sort of program or certain sort of discussions about kindness or compassion. As a result, students among these school much more peaceful, more willingness to help each other. So now, June, their annual sort of meeting over, I think, 200 mayors. So you see, they try to share some of some of the experience, like that. So, America, as far as this teaching is concerned, you see, in because monotherapy survey, 그죠 이지시아 주 가서 monotheistic theistic religion, you see, they emphasize on faith. Oh, wonderful. And the concept of creator. So we all created by God. So that also very, very powerful. Our creator, God, what kind of God? Infinite love. Wonderful. So since we created by such a wonderful creator, so we all have this sort of seed of compassion. Buddhists say seed of Buddha. So similar, like the son's body, genes from some of the father's genes were there. So similarly, we all have the God's some kind of gene. Wonderful. And then, you see, according to Christian, I think Islam also, I think same. No previous life. This very life created by God directly. So therefore, you see, we have some kind of strong feeling of intimacy with God. So therefore, you see, that sort of religion with the concept of creator, very powerful. Then meantime, the one part of Sankhyaism and Jainism and Buddhism, no concept of creator. So strictly speaking, we are non-believer. So our destination is go to hell. Again, you see, this very room, you see, I think last year, the Bishop Tutu of South Africa, Nobel laureate, since many years, we know very well. So we always teasing each other. So he always described me mischievous Dalai Lama. So then I return, I consider you mischievous bishop. So we very, very sort of very, very close sort of friend. So this very room, the last year, on long interviews, I think 4 days interview. And then one occasion he mentioned he ready to go to heaven. And then he mentioned, Dalai Lama, go somewhere else. So like that. So therefore, so the Western country, it's a Judeo-Christian background, and to some extent Islam. So not much talking. I mean, no concept of karma. Whereas in this country, all major religious tradition, you see, have the practice concept of shamatha and concept of vipassana.
Yes.
So naturally, explanation about mind, about emotion, there. So therefore, now you Indian, you already have this knowledge. Only thing is, you have to pay more attention. Modern Indian, too much sort of westernized, and neglect about your own traditional sort of value or knowledge about inner value. So sometimes I really feel pity when British introduced modern education in this country. At that time, Indian intellectuals, I think, should participate. So now still, it's not too late. There are a lot of modern facilities there. Now use these and educate not only in the school or these things, but masses. So reintroduce ancient Indian knowledge. The Bhagavad Gita, Drumlu Shigdu Kasam, Tikure. Bhagavad Gita Marve, Drumlu Shen Jishirat, Maru Bharat. Mahabharat. Okay, something like a story. Okay, not much. For me, not much interest. So the knowledge about human mind, human emotion, and the system of whole emotions, this knowledge is very, very relevant to today's world. In order to tackle our emotion, we should have the fuller knowledge about the whole system of emotion. So many scientists really showing interest. So therefore, you see, please, now you should sort of pay more attention and more effort to revive this knowledge. So I fully agree, you see, the students, your sort of experience. You see, matters. We can see, we can calculate, but in our experience, there are some sort of mysterious sort of experience. So, I think on top of there's some recitation or prayer, these things, you should pay more attention, study about ancient Indian masters, what's the writing. I consider myself as a student of ancient Indian masters, particularly the Nalanda masters, like Nagarjuna, Aryadeva, Arya Asanga, Basubandh, Binobhavi, Baba Biga, and then Bhuttapalita and Shantadeva and Chantakirti and Dignak, or then Indian logic, Dignak and Dharmakirti. Oh, they are logic. Marvelous, really. So I use some extent, you see, their knowledge. Of course, my own knowledge, very limited. Because when I carry study, I'm a very, very lazy student. I copy from you. Lazy. I think it is quite a human nature. I think a student whose mind quite sharp, then more laziness, isn't it? So my mind quite sharp. So I relying my sort of sharpness of my mind, so lazy. At the last minute, pay something. Then in the front of my teacher, yes, I repeated these things. But otherwise, you see, just lazy, play. So my knowledge still very limited. But even this limited knowledge, immense help. When I sort of discuss with modern scientists or educationists in different fields, the field which we do not know, but still, you see, listen, you see their explanation, then analyze. Then sometimes we find some contradictions. So then, when they make presentation as a scholar in a certain field, they really wonderfully sort of present it. Listen carefully. There are some sort of contradictions here and there. So then after they sort of, they make a presentation, then with respect and raise some of these sort of points, then some of the scholars, they say, oh, I have to think more seriously. So that's the result of study of logic. Logic, if this is so, this must be. 가서 다 링드다네. 링드다서 가서.
To follow the sequence of the logic.
That is very, very sort of useful. So that India's tradition of logic, Buddhist logic, and these texts also you see mentioned at that time because of the old existence of at that time's different philosophical views and logicians from different sort of tradition. So at that time, India, I think, really sort of highly developed. You see, these not external sort of science or these things, but internal science, I think, highly developed. So therefore, you see, these are very, very useful. So on plus, you see, you also today some experience. Now study is very, very essential. So for me, the best way to transform my emotion is vipassana, analytical meditation, not just faith or single-pointed or meditation, but thinking, analyze. That we call vipassana. It's very important. So now, next audience. Thank you. I really feel not only great honor, but also I really feel the very good opportunity to share some of sort of my own sort of the views about India. Thank you.
A lot of thanks to His Holiness the Dalai Lama Ji. Now my humble request to His Holiness Dalai Lama Ji, please inaugurate our second year first edition of Samast Bharat magazine.
Yes.
Now my humble request to His Holiness Dalai Lama Ji to present gifts on behalf of Samast Bharat.